Now let's talk about having a good product. What is a good product? It's one that people in your market are willing to buy at the price that you want to charge for it. It must have a unique selling proposition, which is abbreviated USP. It should be easy to create. You don't want to spend a year creating your product. It needs to be downloadable. Digital products are easy to deliver. You can automate it, and people like the instant gratification. It needs to have a high perceived value, and it should naturally lead to a back-end product that you can sell to make even more money. Now here's a good example of a USP that you've already seen. If you have a look at the headline, it's pointed out that it's a professional, full-featured, and ad-free autoresponder. It's also mentioned that you can build your list on complete autopilot, which will explode your income. Now to come up with one for your own product, you should start with the need you're trying to meet. For instance, in Monster Response, it tells them that it will help people send professional email messages with no ads. You need to focus on how your product will meet the need. You don't have to give all the details right there. That's what your sales copy is for. But you need to give enough detail to convince your reader that your offering will meet their needs. And you need to look at obvious performance gaps you can fill. If there's other products in your industry or niche, you need to look at how your product can outperform theirs in certain areas. Now let's talk about perceived value of your product. What you think your product worth doesn't really matter. Your customers dictate what they will pay for your product. You need to give them more than they think the product is worth. For instance, if you set your price at $7, then your perceived value should be 3 to 5 times the $7 price tag. Now, words in your sales copy can give the perceived value for you. You can do this by adding bonuses to your offer that are of value, or you can add components to the product, such as video to an ebook or something like that. Now let's talk about pay-per-click as an advertising medium. If you go to Google, you'll see these ads down on the side that say sponsored links. These are ads that people are bidding on keywords and key phrases. The more they bid, the higher they go, basically, but there are some other factors in there. You can do that too by setting up an AdWords account with Google AdWords. You don't get charged just because your ad shows up on here, so no matter how many searches happen and your ad shows up on here, you only get charged when somebody actually clicks on your ad. Now you can sign up for your account just by going to google.com. And at the bottom here, you see advertising programs. You'll see Google AdWords here and Google AdSense over here. What you're interested in this instance is Google AdWords. So just click on here, and then you can go through the sign-up process. Now let's go have a look at the back end of our Google AdWords account and how to set up a PPC ad. So let's just set up a quick example ad here. Right here you see you have a create a new campaign, and you do keyword targeted or placement targeted. You're going to want to use keyword targeted. Click on that. Next thing you need to do is give it a campaign ID. This reminds you what the campaign is about. The next thing it asks you to do is name an ad group. What this is for is you can create a separate ad with an ad group, and you can target different keywords in each ad group. This allows you to create multiple ads for the same product being triggered by different keywords or key phrases. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and name this. Next, you choose the language that you're trying to target. So we'll go with English in this case. And then the customer location. Here you can choose where you want your customers to come from. And this is a map here, so you can drag it around and pick the area in the world that you want to target. So we'll click on United States and click United States country. And Canada. Now, depending on what you're selling, you want to think about who you're going to target. And then United Kingdom. And Australia. This is totally up to you. Then you see in your list on the left side what countries you're targeting. When you're done, click Done. And then we click Continue. This is where we set up our ad. Your ad headline is probably the most important part of the whole thing. Remember, you have a finite amount of space here, and you want to interest your readers of your ad so that they click your URL and go to your site. This will cause you to have more sales. More clicks equals more sales, providing you have a compelling offer that you're promoting. Okay, so the headline we put in here, and then down here we put our first part of the ad, and then we have a second line here. So you need to make this compelling so that people are going to want to click. It's also worth mentioning that having a keyword in the title is very powerful because it actually shows up in highlight in the ads. For instance, when I type in earn money here, you'll see that anything with earn money in the headline here is showing up in highlight, and that's a good way to get attention. Next is your display URL. This is what will show in the ad. For instance, if we look over here, this is this display URL down at the bottom here, right here. It doesn't have to be the same as the URL that your destination page is, but it has to be on the same domain. Okay, so you go ahead and you put your display URL in here, and then your destination URL is where they're actually going to end up when they click on your ad. Then you click continue when you have that filled out. It'll check your ad to make sure you're not violating any rules. Now it's time to think about your keywords. Now, choosing the right keywords is a bit of an art, and we're going to go over that in a little bit. But for now, I'll just key in some keywords that I think I'm going to use. Note that there are different types of matching of keywords. There's exact match, phrase match, and general match. For instance, if we put in, say we were to add this keyword that's showing up down in the side here, like this. If we were to take it and paste it in here again, and then put quotes around it like this, that is a phrase match keyword. In other words, this phrase has to be within the keywords that were keyed in. So if they keyed in, show me easy ways to earn money, your ad would show up. However, if somebody does this, if you put in an exact match, which is like this, but with this symbol, this type of bracket around it, that's an exact match. Now if they keyed in, show me easy ways to earn money, it won't show up. That's because this is an exact match. They have to type exactly that in there. This one, it'll show up if any of these words in here show up. If they just type in easy ways to train your dog, this may show up in those results. So you need to be careful about choosing the way you match your keywords. I'm going to come back to this later and put more keywords in it, but for now, we'll just go with that. Just click continue.